What is up? We got to start with the Raps because it was ugly again.
Yep.
They've now lost back-to-back games by 20 or more. And I think the question we got to start on is, has this team quit, or are they just so deficient of talent that this is what that looks like?
Well, to answer your question, it's clearly a talent deficiency at this point. I don't think they've quit. They're an immature team. They're full of young guys. No one on the team has really won anything. They don't have the mindset of winners, and they need to grow. But the Spurs loss was a crystallization of what the rebuild is going to be like. Fans and media all love the rebuild until it arrives, and it hurts because
in theory, it's great.
In theory, it's great, but guess what? It's going to be like this for the foreseeable future. The rest of this season, you can make the argument that next season, nothing's going to move the needle that much. And this is really where we're going to see what Scotty Barnes is made of. He's being kind of anointed as the future of this team.
The future of the league, if you ask Darko.
Yes, and we need to see, can he be a true number one on a team that can go somewhere or not? Because the way he played against the Spurs showed a lot of immaturity. Yeah. He left the game early.
But that's where my question comes from. It looked like Scotty yesterday. I'm not saying he quit, but it looked like he was really disengaged.
There's a lot of warning signs that were like, the jogging back on defense, the missing a shot, claiming for a foul, not like showing that urgency. I think there are now Raptors are at a point now where it's all about like habits, what we see, right? Wins and losses, that's out the door. It's gonna be more losses than wins. We know that the franchise chose that direction. It's the immaturity thing. It's now you have a bunch of young guys. How are they gonna play? I was talking to Sam Mitchell last night on the broadcast, and his big thing was,
pick up that name you just dropped real quick.
Well, I mean, come on, Sam worked for TSN for a decade plus. He's one of our guys.
Sam's the best.
He loves chirping this guy right here on the same day parlays every time.
time.
Although we made some money last night.
Yes,
humble brag.
Money.
His big thing, he coached the Raptors, right? His big thing was he liked those timeouts to start the games, but he's gonna playing time is a currency now with this team. If players aren't playing hard, sit them, give them learning. Like, it's a learning process for these guys, right? Give them lessons on how to play. What we've been seeing as of late, Scotty's just going to get all of the shine because he is the anointed franchise guy, is a lot of pouting, a lot of not running back on defense, leaving the game with 3 seconds left against the Spurs, going into the tunnel. I'm pretty sure Pascal Siakam, after committing a 6th foul back in the bubble, got suspended for a game for a similar incident.
Will they do the same?
I don't think they're going to do the same because I think Pascal's a little more older when that happened, whereas Scotty's a little more younger. These are part of the growing pains. There are just warning signs that are a little troubling.
Look, none of us ever play the game professionally. I don't know what it's like to go from a situation where your team's competitive every night, and now you're pretty much not supposed to win every game that you're in. That mentally, sure, I bet you it's really tough, especially as a young guys trying to make it in the league. But let me spotlight some other teams that are also very young in the NBA. A team like the Orlando Magic. They weren't supposed to win. Their win total is actually the same.
It was the same as the Raps.
That's the whole point. They had the same win total as the Raps, but look at the effort they make on the defensive end every single game. They give it. And that's the reason why they've been so scrappy and successful this year. The Raptors, since the OG trade, are the second worst defense in the NBA.
Yeah.
That can't happen.
It's personnel.
It's personnel based,
and it's effort based. Like some of the baskets they're giving up, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing defense. So I don't know.
Which is effort based though.
That's the thing. If you're young and you're athletic, your baseline should be at least okay defensively. Yeah. And listen, I don't want to rag on Scotty Barnes too hard. He's on the All-Star team in his 3rd year. He's having a great season, but there's a lot of growing he has to do because everyone else is gone. Pascal's gone. OG's gone. Fred is gone. It's your team now, right?
Once they traded OG, there were clear signs that this team was going to be much worse defensively. RJ Barrett, bless his heart, not the greatest defender. Probably should be pretty good. Not the greatest. Gary Trent Jr., not the greatest.
It's a layup line, though, man. The points in the paint that they're allowing is bottom of the league.
The reason why we were harping on opposing team totals against this Raptors team, because they just hemorrhage points. That's what they do. The Cleveland game was a very good example of how many ways to not stop a pick and roll. And I think they showed every single way. There's a lot of that stuff can happen. I'm more concerned about just the effort level for the team day in, day out. And they do have a championship caliber player. They have Bruce Brown on the team, but he ain't going to help, man.
Right.
But it goes back to your original question. When you talk about talent deficiency, a lot of the times talent deficiency is on offensive competency. Defense is so much about mental, so much about effort.
Yeah.
That you don't have. It's not about talent.
Hard
So
work's
that's
a
That
talent.
has nothing to do with
But
talent.
that's what makes me ask the question. Like, I don't think any of us really think that they're quitting. But on the defensive end, it sure looks like it.
Hard work and
there's
effort.
no effort there.
Effort's a talent. Effort to me is a talent. Jack Armstrong says it all the time. Effort is a talent. That's another name. Effort is a talent, man. Like, if you want, like, there are certain guys who are wired a certain way. They don't want you to score on them, and they will do whatever they can. Oh, you mentioned Orlando Magic. Jalen Suggs is a perfect example
Yeah.
of a guy who may lack offensive, proficiency.
He's rough. He's rough offensively.
Can't
but
really shoot.
defensively, he's a dog.
Monster. And
He's a pest.
I like my teams like that. I'm wearing a Hemi. Miami.
Yeah,
of course.
I like dogs. I like that. And we're going through the growing pains. It's not fun to watch. It's just I want to see a little more
So
effort.
now let's see also in the offseason, what do Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster do? What kind of guys do they bring in? Because right now it's clearly a kind of finesse, skill type player with not a lot of tenacity or grit on this team. So are they going to fill in those gaps with those types of players? Because throw in a couple guys like that, and the team might look a little bit better next season.
So at the same time, though, I think it really depends on what happens with the pick to how they approach this upcoming season.
the pick.
Because if they don't get the pick, do you really want to make moves to try to be better for next year?
I think you're building young, man. I was on this very pod, and I said it'd be malpractice if they lost that pick. I still feel the same way. Now, obviously, it's out of their control.
Where it
for the most
stands
part.
right now, they're currently 7th, and Memphis
Like a
is
40, 50
It's out of their control. I'm just looking at it from a very macro perspective. You need as much young talent on this team, role players that fit the bill of maybe being a little more tough, a little more defensive minded. It's much easier to do that when you have multiple cracks at it in the draft. You get players like that.
I'll push back just a little bit on that because if you told me the rest of the season the Raps are going to unlock something amongst this group and win some games and establish an identity, start to look half decent defensively, and they lose the pick, then I would say, you know what, that might be not worth it, but it's something to
something
that?
positive to build off of at least.
Who is saying that though?
Yeah, I'd
Who's
say.
gonna say it? I'm not saying it.
I fully admit, I got one thing I'm watching, and it's just like, so when Jakob Poeltl came back, everybody thought, oh, maybe all the defensive problems that the Raptors are having will be solved. They're second worst, right? I said since the OG trade. What do you think they are since Poeltl's been back these last 7-8 games?
It's probably first worst.
They're the worst. They're even worse.
First worst, yeah.
Even worse. I don't get that. So they have no excuse.
All right, let's transition here. I think it was Wes gave us a little bit of a homework assignment because we've reached a point in the season where there's not a lot of time. I see that look. There's not a lot of time left to kind of jump on some big odds. And we're first and foremost, we are a gambling pod. So Wes's homework assignment was find something 10-1 that you love that you want to bet.
Ish.
Could be an award. Ish. And I honestly, looking at this, there was a few things that caught my mind. This isn't my official pick.
Oh, you're starting. Okay.
I'm starting this off.
Okay, let's hear it.
This is
So
just
now-
the self alley oop.
Yeah. McGrady off the backboard. It's almost
yeah.
all-star. We're getting ready.
Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah,
Pass the ball, bro. All right, whatever. Go.
Okay, so it's all getting close to all-star. Mine went to McGrady. Here's what I'm thinking. I have two. The first one, and once again, these are long shots, so poke holes, carve up, all you want.
Yeah, well, the
poke.
idea is that the long shots, this is pretty much like last chance saloon, man.
Yeah.
This
Value
bomb's just gonna
season.
go away. This
Value
is probably the
season.
last
So,
shot.
I'm starting with, this is not my official pick, but one that I looked at really hard at 17-1.
Oh.
Philly to win the East purely based off of Embiid.
Almost
Only
stole my- okay, thank God.
Only
Almost
off
stole
Embiid. It's not my pick, but it's like you sprinkle. It's not even to win the title. It's to win the East.
Yeah.
Because if Embiid comes back, if Embiid's healthy,
I like
you
it.
got a puncher's chance. But my pick, and I know you guys are gonna hate
That was
this.
very,
was
that was
not your
very
pick?
high. That was very high in ass Gabe to
Wait,
have a little high, just so you can have credit for it if it goes. I said it. It wasn't official, but I said it. I
The
said it.
homework assignment said one bit.
Wes, I am a man of indulgence. Before my main, I want to have an appetizer.
Yeah.
And my appetizer.
What's for dessert?
Yeah. Oh, I got dessert picks too. But my actual pick. and
Yes,
Feel free to carve this up.
Yeah.
Jared Allen Depoy at 10-1.
Oh, God.
Now, okay, yes, okay.
Yes.
This is sickening. Like,
Hold on.
I knew we
This
would
is
have
why.
to go
Hey,
up.
this is why we're doing this. But I'm just gonna give you some numbers. Since January 3rd,
You sicken me.
Cleveland 105.4 defensive rating, first in the NBA.
Yeah, yeah.
44.1 opponent field goal percentage, first in the NBA. 10.7 opponent second chance points, first in the NBA. 44.7 opponent points in the paint per game, second in the NBA. Cleveland is on fire. I know they lost last night.
they are.
On fire, and they're doing it with defense. And who is the main person? I know he's been the anchor of their defense, so he gets the most credit. if we get a Gobert injury, yes, this is Gobert's award, but if wow,
Hey,
these guys are insane.
We have shares. We have shares.
We have
Yeah.
shares.
If something were to happen to Gobert and he doesn't hit the 65 games, Cleveland is a big story and a big talking point. We know all these awards.
No Mobley for a while
Yeah,
as well.
and Houston,
no
that's why he was the
Garland.
anchor to it.
Yeah. yeah.
Okay, my main issue is Evan Mobley was top 3 in Defensive Player of the Year voting last year. So he's on the team still. I know he's missed some time, but now Allen is the Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, yeah, you have both. So how can Allen be the Defensive Player of the Year now when...
Well, because with Mobley was out for a large chunk of that, and Allen's still a good defender. I know we chirp him and like
listen,
the whole All-Star thing.
hold
with-
on.
He has improved this
Until,
year.
until the Cavs clear the stench of the Knicks series from last year, none of them can win awards.
But they can't
I don't
clear
care.
that
You're not.
stench
You are not allowed to win any awards. The lights were too bright. Okay.
Unless you gave me big staff. Maybe.
You know, credit to them. They're having a great year. At 10-1, sure. Allen, he deserves to be in the a long second from Gobert. It's Gobert's to lose.
Hey,
I mean,
Gobert's what, like minus 500 or something?
yeah,
like
yeah,
it
he's
is
some
for sure.
crazy
him.
number.
Minnie has been wire to wire #1 defense almost, and every night you see it. He's more spry. He's defending on the perimeter. He's defending at the rim.
Man,
They-
look
they
no
just-
further than that Clippers Wolves game.
Yeah, I
that
mean,
we
they
were
just,
watching, like,
they,
just
the Mini just went into LA and blew them out by 20 a night ago. I mean,
yeah.
Like you said, Cleveland has actually been the best for the last 2 months on defense. So you're fair there. I think in order for that bet to cash, you just need such a huge drop off from Minnesota.
Yeah.
In order for
Or
them
a
to level
Gobert
up.
injury. That's
Gobert
it.
injury, which is a crazy thing to wish for.
No, I'm not. I'm not wishing-
Putting it
we
in
don't want,
existence.
we
I
don't want
that.
anyone
We're
to
not
get
asking
hurt.
for that.
We're not
Well,
asking anyone to
the,
get
the
hurt.
thing I'll point out is even though Cleveland has been the best defense all this time, the last 2 months, Minnie's right there.
Yeah.
They've been
Yeah.
third, just behind them. So it's not like Minnie's had this huge drop off, which is causing this like jump in Allen's odds. Allen is getting this jump exactly like you said. No one was left, like they were left for dead. They go 16-2.
Yeah.
Somehow with all their core guys out. So Allen deserves the respect.
And like we said all the time, narratives are a huge driver of award stuff. And right now, Cleveland is the narrative. We'll see how they finish the season.
My clap back to you is this is probably the peak Allen price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's back now. So even if Cleveland's defense sustains, it gets diluted who the credit goes
'Cause at
to.
one point, OG was second shortest.
Yeah,
right?
and then
it
he
was
got hurt.
And then he got hurt, yeah.
Anthony Davis, Chet
Yeah.
Holmgren. So yeah. So wow.
Not bad.
We don't
not
like.
bad.
No,
not bad.
didn't like it.
Okay?
Not a fan.
Not bad. Okay, Philly doesn't count.
Okay, can I go? Am I
Yeah,
going?
go ahead.
Okay, so your appetizer pick. I was ready to go hard on you.
Go.
I'm wearing the
Feast.
sweater.
Yeah.
I'm wearing the sweater. The Miami
Let me
Heat
lean out of the
to
frame.
win
Lean
the
out of frame
Eastern
for-
Conference.
Look right into the camera for this one.
Plus 1,900 Miami Heat to win the East. How much more proof do we need as a collective before we start realizing like this is just the reality of how things work? They don't care about the regular season. They care about the playoffs. Jimmy Butler said it himself on record that he does not care about the regular season, care about the All-Star game. He cares about the playoffs, man. 3 of the last 4 Eastern Conference Finals. 2 of the last 4.
I
made
feel
the
like this is
finals.
like a
Why
regular
doesn't
every
he-
other pod segment.
Why doesn't he care about like avoiding the play-in?
Last
Like,
year,
like,
doesn't
sorry,
matter.
you know what? Let's just drop down to 8th for the fun of it.
Listen, man, I'm sure that's not what was planned, but man, you just do what you do to get to where you need to go. Dude, I'll guarantee you all Boston Celtics fans are terrified of
no
playing
one
the
wants
Heat.
the Heat.
Who wants to face the Heat? The Sixers? Get out of here with that, man. The
Oh,
Sixers.
sorry, hold on. Let me just peel back the curtain a little bit.
Peel it.
That this is we're trying to create good content here.
Yeah.
And all of us knew you were going to take the Heat. Sometimes you just got to let your teammate clear out. Sometimes you just got to let him play iso ball. And that was a good rant. You're welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
all right.
Appreciate that. But like, dude, I've got some pushback on this from many people. It's just I don't know what else we need to see. The Knicks are favored over the Heat.
No,
the Cavs?
I think
After
we'll-
that playoff series last year, the Cavaliers
I think
are
we
favored
learned
over
last
the Heat.
year, no matter what, the Heat, and yeah, whatever, say a little bit of Giannis injury, the Heat always need to be feared. The Rozier trade, like there's...
And he's hurt, and there's been good news on that front. He is expected to come back. It's week to week. That knee sprain looked bad at first, but
come playoffs, though, I think he'll be fine.
now I will say my one caveat. Well, I do have a caveat.
Can I say it for you? Can I say the words that you're just
Do
gonna
you know
say?
what it is?
I know what it is because I was gonna ask you. Behind the scenes, I know you do not like Kyle Lowry not being there anymore. How do you feel about that?
I am devastated that Kyle Lowry.
Oh,
is
where's
there.
Kyle Lowry?
Philadelphia.
That's what I
Wow,
thought.
yeah.
17 to 1.
I'm getting around to that. I'm getting around to that. Let me
Yeah.
get there. Clear the way, man. I'm ready to get there. Kyle Lowry to me does a lot of stuff. We've seen it up close. He is a tendon. He connects.
The GROAT.
Yeah, the grow,
Yeah.
easily the grow, and he just does so many little things. The leadership skills are off the charts. I am worried that he did go to Philadelphia. Him and Nick Nurse reunited. That is a worrying thing for me as a Heat better. Embiid's injury is the main reason why
My
I'm
thing's
staying
purely based
away.
off if Embiid doesn't come back, that bet's toast.
Yeah, like, and listen, the Philly lost to Miami, in the playoffs. They do it. Philly loses to a lot of people in the playoffs. Yeah, that part worries me. The Lowry stuff worries me. The Rozier injury worries me. Heat value. Come on, the
Okay,
Cavs
I want
over
it on
the
record.
Cavs over the Heat. Get
I
out.
want it on
Who's
record.
talking about the Cavs? I mean, listen,
They're
you're
favored
right.
over the Heat.
You're right. The Heat.
So
listen,
call out business daddy FanDuel that they made a mistake.
It's a mistake.
the Heat can.
Mistake.
They always need to be feared. They have the pedigree. However, it's still going to be an uphill climb. They have trouble scoring. And listen, the Knicks are struggling right now because everyone's injured.
Yeah.
Their whole team is out. So let's see what
still
they look
favored
like when
above-
they're.
I still don't think the Knicks can be trusted.
It's going to be
Like,
interesting. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Well, it's the same deficiencies, I guess.
Yeah.
Miami. Okay.
What do you got?
Hit me.
Okay. So
Hold on, I just want to say something. How great would it be if West went full circle here and made a Warriors bet after declaring them dead many weeks ago? So wait, your banner is
my
officially-
banner officially, the Warriors dynasty is over.
Wow, wow.
Get the Vince Carter,
Whoa.
get the Vince Carter gif on me, right? It's
Whoa.
over. There's no chance. No, I'm not doing that, all right?
Go.
So I want, it's not a chalky one, but I'm just saying this one's an inflection point with a trade deadline, and this is why I brought up this whole exercise, is because that's the last big catalyst for anything really big to change. So I want to spotlight Luka Doncic, 10-1 to win MVP.
I love this. I looked at that.
Okay, 10-1. He's the fourth option. The straw poll just came out today, and he was the fourth in voting. So here's my whole point of this bet. Every single season, Doncic opens as the betting favorite for MVP.
Yes,
he
he does.
loses. And we know what the problem is. They don't win enough games. His defense isn't good enough.
Correct.
He's averaging career highs in a bunch of stats, defensive stats included. I am just taking this bet as a straight shot that these two buy now moves, which Mavericks were not a trade deadline winner. I think they gave up way too much future value for two guys who aren't
you
that great.
don't like Gafford?
Not like
Just, it
enough
just
for
doesn't
two,
move the needle for what they gave
but for
up.
2 first-round draft picks
Sure.
for a shot. Like, what
They're
do you
all in. They're all in.
They're all in.
All in on this
They're
roster.
all in.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not saying necessarily long term is a good bet, but they've made a bet, and they're 1 game out of 5th. They're 5.5 out of being part of that top 4 mix.
Yeah.
The only thing that holds Luka out of being in the MVP conversation is team record.
Yeah.
They've won 5 in a row. If somehow this is the mix, and these two guys coming in give them 48 minutes of a rim running center the entire game, Kyrie just chucking lobs, Luka chucking lobs, they're all getting easy offense. Sure, they have a shot. Like the Nuggets during this entire season, 2024, they have the same net rating as the Mavs. Jokic, who is the favorite right now. So if the Mavericks can put something together, get into that top 4 mix and make it a little bit cloudy, I just think he will be part of the
A
conversation.
little bit of voter fatigue could also play in with Jokic too.
Nuggets also got trucked in Milwaukee. Like, I got absolutely trucked. I think there is value there. I think you made a great point about Luka being the betting favorite almost like
every year.
before
And he
the
never
start.
wins it,
But
right?
yeah, it's very simple. It's incredibly simple equation. They have to win games.
That's it.
They have to be a part of that top 4 mix in the West. If the records are close, fine, because his numbers are out of control.
Yes.
They really, really
He
are.
will be, he will
Do
be
they
the
need to
scoring
be a
leader.
top 2 seed for him to
Maybe
win
not
that?
top 2, but like in that mix of 4. If he's in that mix
Yeah.
of those 4 and they're all kind of roughly
Within a
within a
game
game,
of
And like
each other, yeah.
Kyrie's missed time this year as well.
he's
so
missed
there is
22 games,
there's
Lively's missed
justification.
18, so there's a lot of times.
There's-
that-
there's justification.
Is it worth then potentially betting on the Mavs over wins if you like Luka as well?
That's a fair point.
I think it's a fair
Right,
point as well.
because I think if they coincide, and
Yeah.
maybe Luka falls short, but the Mavs do win enough games.
yeah,
right?
I mean, if
So-
you believe the bet, then yeah, you probably can do them
Yeah,
in
yeah.
cohesion.
and
yeah.
Mavs are probably a live dog in any series.
I wish I could.
Yeah.
I wish I could push back on you, but that's. I mean,
It's good
you
value.
it's good value. I agree.
All right, Fab,
so
you're
for
up.
me, I've got Norm Powell, 6th man of the
Yeah,
year.
Well covered.
Yeah,
He's
you
10-1 right now. There's 2 pretty clear favorites in Malik Monk and Tim Hardaway Jr.
I think they're tied right
who are,
now,
who are
right?
putting up better raw numbers. They average more points. Monk way more assists. He's way more of a creator off the bench. Powell's thing is the Clippers have a shout to be the 1 seed in the West.
Yes.
They could get there. And often what we've seen with this award is it goes to a guy on a really good team.
Yes.
So if they get the 1 seed, Powell, he's a super efficient scorer. He's almost 50% from the floor. He's almost 45% from 3. Great corner 3-ball shooter, tax closeouts. He's exactly what they need off the bench. He's not asked to create. He's a guy who needs to finish.
He's a finisher.
And, maybe his efficiency and their record is enough of a combo. Now, I'm not saying he deserves to be ahead of the other 2, but he's he could be in the mix if they're the 1 seed.
FanDuel, if you want to know how to break my boy Fab, just price Russell Westbrook ahead of Norm for 1 day. Just for 1 day. Just put the price Russell ahead of Norm. That's all I need. And I'll just screenshot it and then you can put it back.
The stream of text from Fab watching a Russell Westbrook game, just being like super annoyed by everything he does.
Listen, letting Russ cook, you could end up with a gourmet meal. You could end up with the kitchen on fire. It's gonna go one way or the other.
Okay, we're transitioning to All-Star. It's coming up this weekend. We're gonna have some fun here. Do a little snake draft between the dunk contest and the 3-point contest.
Yeah.
I'll be going first just because I guess I'm sitting in this seat.
So hold on, we're picking one
guy from dunk, one guy from 3-point.
Gotcha.
And with the first pick, I'm just there's only one guy to take, and that's Mac McClung. I said this before. To me, the dunk contest died the day Aaron Gordon took a seat in midair and was robbed. That was the last.
Can you roll that? Roll that.
One of the best dunk contests ever, and since then I've been nothing but disappointed. Mac McClung was great last year, and this is the only bet to make. I think it's like minus 190. So I will be
without
taking
a doubt the best bet to take. Shout out for giving yourself the best bet.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll give myself the Barry Horowitz. Pat myself on the back.
Way to go, chalk, bro. All right. So I'm not gonna do the dunk contest. I am gonna go to the 3-point. So there's a little more juice there. The favorite is Damian Lillard. I'm not going to take Damian Lillard because I ain't that guy. I'm taking Karl Anthony Towns.
Oh, okay.
Plus 600. Proclaimed the greatest big man shooter in NBA history. Listen, man, I think that contest has a lot to do with catch and shoots. I think he does catch and shoot the ball a lot. And, looking at the other guys on the slate there, I like Cat. He shoots the 3 well. I'm not going chalk. Plus 600. There's good value in Cat. Why not?
I'm a fantasy strategic guy. I know Fab's got to come back, so he's going to take one of my 3-point shooters. I still got two of my guys. So I'm going to go Jaylen Brown for the dunk contest.
That's good.
And that is just a pure brand name play. Are they gonna I just think there might be some voter favoritism towards a guy who is well respected in the NBA versus Mac McClung, who doesn't even play in the league.
An all-star starter,
an
all-star
player,
yeah.
a max contract guy.
I'm trying to think best player in the dunk contest since when?
That's what I'm saying. So I just think there might be some bias there.
You know what they need?
I'm gonna run with that.
You know what they need to do for one of his dunks? Put a bunch of guys in Raptor jerseys around him, because I think some of his best dunks ever have been in game against the Raptors.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. That's my guy.
I am going to take Tyrese Halliburton.
That's what I was hoping for too. I was hoping
You thought he was getting to you?
Yeah, I thought so.
Listen, he's at home. He's in Indiana.
The home
he had the
factor.
best round one in the 3-point contest last year.
I like it.
Yeah, man's a deadly shooter.
it.
He's
That was my
accurate.
pick.
I have nothing else to say. Tyrese Halliburton.
Shout out
Also,
Fab.
now it's me again.
Yep.
You got
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Dunker. I'm gonna take, I guess, Jaime Jaquez. I don't know if he can dunk, but sure.
You're kind of left with no good options between him and Obi Toppin.
I've never seen him dunk in a game, but I hope he can light it up at the dunk contest somehow. So
According to
go Jaime.
Connor behind the scenes says he could dunk at UCLA and dunk in high school, so we'll have to trust
Not
Connor.
sure I've ever seen him
I
dunk.
think you picked the better of the two. Okay, so I'm left in. So my other option, I was Halliburton first. I'll go with Lauri Markkanen. I think I like the spot here. He's I think plus 700. He's one of the guys further back there. I just think he's got the stroke. He's got the career shooting percentage from deep. His volume's picked up this year. I think he's capable. Whereas some of the other guys are more volume shooters, but their percentages aren't as great. I like the mix that you get with Markkanen.
Can I just not take Toppin?
What do you mean you can't
Can
take
I just
You're
choose to
stuck.
take? No, can I just
choose not to run?
Can I just choose to take another 3-point?
No chance.
No,
Why?
you cannot.
Because that wasn't the rules that we established.
You need one of each.
So it's your choice.
Why don't
to
you
pick
take
a
someone
dunker.
from the skills comp then, as a
You're supposed
protest?
to pick a dunker first. That's the way.
I don't want to take Toppin.
Well, that's
you
that's
have
the
no
way the
choice.
game works. You
You
should
should-
have taken Jaylen Brown.
Can
then.
I have Damian Lillard?
No,
No
you cannot.
chance. In a fantasy draft,
Yo,
that's-
Can I have?
you gas up Jacob Toppin? Please?
I don't want to. I don't know how to do it.
You're not a West Kentucky guy.
I'm not. No, I'm not. Not particularly.
Well, you have Toppin, so that's
You
it.
have Toppin. One bomb.
No, can I take my skills comp?
yeah, take a skills comp by then.
I'm Scotty Barnes,
does not. He does
Tyrese
not get
Maxey,
this. He is
Trae
stuck
Young
with-
revenge tour. Scotty Barnes and Maxey, in particular in the rookie years, embarrassed themselves in the skills comp.
For the
by,
record, he's
flubbing
stuck with Toppin.
Flubbing floaters. Redemption tour.
Yeah. He is-
The font is going to say Toppin.
It will say Toppin.
Damian Lillard.
You know what?
Whatever you
For
like.
me,
It says.
I've got the NCAA 4 seed brackets. I have the favorites for both, as Damian Lillard has somehow fallen to me, and I got Lillard for the 3-point contest.
He's not going back to back.
What
man.
just
Fine, who else am I
happened?
going to take? That's the pick.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know me.
you're-
That's the
yeah.
pick.
What just happened here?
Yeah, you screwed it up. You didn't know the rules of the game.
That's your
That's what
problem.
happened.
You're supposed to pick a dunker if you didn't like it.
You
Your
play.
problem.
You already. You got you got a little excited with the ISO ball with Jimmy, and you decided to do it again in the skills comp.
How do you take a skills team?
he did not. He did not.
Revenge
Jacob
The
Toppin.
font will say Jacob Toppin.
Yeah.
Tyrese
Enjoy.
Maxey, Scotty Barnes, Trey Young.
All right.
Enjoy the
Thanks,
offense.
everybody. That's all for us. Next time we see you back, we're getting real close to Drew Eubanks season.
Sabrina over Steph in the 3-point, too. Let's go crazy.